Okay, people, I got for you 3 decks today. Three deck profiles. One of them actually is just changements to what I did for my engine for Traptrix for the festival event. First one, I'm essentially running the deck amount upgrade a little bit to include Destiny Hero engine since I actually want a second way and out. I felt like for this event, I also put in Call by the Grave. Regeki is also one card I'm actually thinking of putting in, but I can cut out some stuff I feel like for Fest. I'm pretty much would cut down Giant Sharp Hole by one more personally. From there, there's nothing much the deck that changed much. Overall, these are the best random maxis as well. Harvey Fazlister for a bit and droplet, but Regeki is an option I will run as well. Torrent. I still utilize most of the other stuff, but I also put in. I still got some stuff that I don't need link eyes. Personally, I will keep. I mostly ran the prototype mostly for Fiona Fusion Destiny. If possible, I will take out Access Code Talker. I'll probably let it stay personally, since it is an out and out with the Dark Predator in mind. And Brolosoid is these two pretty much actually the one of these I'll probably get rid of personally to add the Traptrix if you actually have it for the Xyz, I feel like. But there's been no take about it. Otherwise, pretty much you can get rid of Destiny Hero Phoenix Agent. From there, pretty much we move on to my deck that I'm still working on making. It's branded Despia with Funnel Albaz. Focus on mixer between two. I put in 2 Blue Eyes Jets, mostly so I have more light targets to work with, but also I can also make use out of Jets. I feel like for this whole deck it needs it for a backup plan. Mostly for field control, but also so I can banish cards my opponent's grave anytime I want for my Dasher deck. And I can also realize a bunch of broken combos for them. Or get some stuff. And next only I'm running. This is my only 2 XCs I'm running. Number 41 for obvious reasons. And something I just cracked recently for generic that I'm going to put in my Blue Eyes deck pretty soon. Something I'm putting in soon. Mostly main dashes, mostly for its skill. That I could send 1 card from their opponent's controls to their grave or attach one to manage machines, which doesn't matter. But I can also utilize it for also negate destruction effects by battle or such, so that's also useful. Finally, one per land mostly so I can go into my Jet combo or Branded Fusion combo. Go into my Branded or Fusion Destiny. Finally, my last deck I'm showing you is just my old friend. I pretty much tested as much as varies as I can lately, and nothing really is compatible. I tried Max C's with it. It didn't work as much as I hoped. It felt more bricky with Max C's. I did testing with it. I utilized Branded Fusion. It felt more bricky, if anything, with the engine in mind. And I only just recently, after these matches, add Call by the Grave only in my last match. That's when I implemented it. I forgot about cleaning it. You got your hers mostly so you can basically add a Cyber Dragon from your deck or field to your hand. The Chester, which you're mostly utilized to go into to have target water for a grave for your Cyber Dragon names, but you can also utilize it for targeting one machine monster with 21,000 attack or defense, which you can just summon Nova go into Infinity, which I'll blow your show. Of course, still being stable mostly Search Engine card for my cyber spells, or for banishing Shoal. That's obvious reasons. Destiny Heroes, Phoenix Enforcer engine just for I can do destruction plays anytime I want, and I can also make slowing turns much easier. Beer, which is my extender play to mostly get my Cyber Dragons. I can consistently with 3 can make a level 5, or in a case to actually go in my link plays. But also I can power my regular Cyber Dragons by 500 attack defense, which is pretty good. Overall, I feel like the deck can work still within Chester, evolving Trap Festival, but only difference will be core which should only be raising a handful of cyber spell traps. Regular Cyber Dragon, Galaxy Soldier will still be a staple for the whole deck, even that format. Mostly still send one or light monster for your hand to grave. Special summon it. You have level 5, add one more Galaxy monster for your deck to your hand, being Galaxy Soldier itself either way. Finally, Dasher being Ishin, 2 Kaijus, but also utilizing the specifically this one just for the fact that it's a machine and I could go into Nibiru. Use the hand trap, always have it in every single deck of yours, even if you don't need it, you never know. Especially like experiences. I run Regeki, Hard Beast Feathers to mostly get rid of the back row. Lightning Storm is also in there. Machine Duplication. I utilize Hertz, Manchester, Core to special summon my OG Cyber Dragons since they're trio Cyber Dragons. But also, you don't want Veer out of the field at all at the time playing it, since it won't target it. Next up, Overload Fusion, just to go into my fusions. Galaxy Cyber Mercy, which is your mostly staple, and it will make you just discard it, but if you get ashed. Mostly add more Cyber Dragons. Cyber Player Event, just rank 2. Just I need Cyber Dragon to activate it all, so it's Motor Brick. If I have 3, I can actually do both effects. Add 1 light machine monster in deck to your hand. Target 1 light machine monster to your grave, shuffle that target into your deck. It'll be you mostly just use it to go into your Galaxy Soldiers, pretty much, and that's mostly about it. Fisher Destiny, Lightning Storm, mostly utilize it for the first option and not the second. Twin Twisters, mostly so I can discard to actually get combo off with Cyber Dragon Hertz, or to get in the back row and prop up my Cyber Dragon on play. Call Back Grave, obvious reasons, imperm as well. Rampage, which is it discards features some of the above between 2 Cyber Dragons. Destroy the spells and traps up to a number of targets. And Seagull send light machine monsters from your deck to grave, and you for each monster send to grave, you get 1 additional tag. It's powered up by Power Bomb and Cyber Deck Chimera, but that's an alternative option for a Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dark decks I tried once. It was pretty good. You mostly use it to go with Herds, so you can actually plus off your combos, and you can also add cards to your deck to your hand. Cyber Dragon Twin, for obvious reasons, being mostly 2 attackers. Cyber Dragon Cover Attack Fortress, mostly being I can send my Kaiju to my opponent's side of the field to my deck, and I can gain 1,000, but it's also good for against machine matchups since it can be triggered. Mega Fleet, which gets rid of all links monsters in the extra zone, mostly being links in most cases, and they also gain 12,000 attack. 12,000 attack for each one. Cyber Dragon Nova, once per turn, if you have a Cyber Dragon Ring Graveyard, special detach 1 material, special summon 1 Cyber Dragon, and also has a quick effect, banish a Cyber Dragon from your hand or face up monster zone. All those Cyber Dragons are treated as Cyber Dragon, even Cyber Dragon Seeker, which will be said, gaining 12,000 attack, but if this card enters a center grave for a opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 machine fusion monster for your extra deck. Being Cyber Twin mostly, or Cyber Attack Rampage if you can actually go for TK still. Cyber Dragon Fitty, you can actually utilize the Cyber Dragon as a material for Nova. And against all its units, it gains 200 additional attack for each one, so it's a little bit better than Nova. And once per turn, you can target 1 face-up type position monster your opponent's controls and attach its material. Useful, it's also removable. Once per turn, when a card effect is activated, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate activation of anything during your expiration turn. Argus, which is just mostly, you don't utilize it for effect, but mostly put your 9 targets being Hertz, Chester, and Core to grave, so you can actually activate Nova's skill. It really goes off. Seeker is mostly just for a Cyber Dragon name, but also so it can also make any monster machine gain 21,000 attack for rest turn, which one 1,000 more attack, that's a machine. It's generic for most of my cards, except for Phoenix Enforcer and my Cyber Spring Summer Great. but also need your players take down and enter it. Predator Plan Verte, which is my main out. To go into Fusion Destiny or my Overload Fusions. Okay, we're straight into matches. Okay, our first match was fine enough against a Despia deck using Lava Golems and Kaijus in the beer. Nothing unusual from most of the side. Being Predator Plant mostly, also using Super Poly, which is an option really though, but I don't have the UR materials out right now since I'm mostly pulling. Also, I'm jealous I did get a roll finish of this. Dragon Maid, which makes sense since they could just be utilizing for our materials, but personally I don't see the reason why the heck they'll run this, since we still need a Dragon Maid monster. Guarding Chimera makes sense. I'm guessing they'll just run for against the Dragon Maid matchup, but it's okay I guess. The first Dark Lord, since you're running so many fairies that are darks, so it works out. Being since you have multiple targets. Overall, this is our first match. Overall, my first time was Bricky. Also, I was trying to match my newer dailies, which I really much appreciated. I sent this to Grave, go into Syria, go into Traps, go into my proc summon. Mostly utilize it so I can activate effect to summon another trap. Go into Traptrix Refuge. From there, it actually has much in my generic stuff to work with. Fallen Breaded, and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I have an out for this. To go to the living room. They activate Void Trap Hole, which instantly helps. Negate and destroy. Decide to ash it. I was tempted to use Graveyard Trapper's Trip Rubble, but I feel like it wasn't worth it. I sent Trap Spikes to Grave. Plus set one Chain Hole. So I come out. The one thing at least I'm glad at least having that trap monster out is that none of my other targets can be destroyed. I essentially went for attack. To go into Branded, which I activate my trap hole for it, mostly piercing. Special summon my Mario, mostly get the monster out, and call by the grave, which is useful. I set another group. Go into the floodgate, mostly go to defense. My opponent has most of the cards out. Going into Syria again. Like Shuffle, have an out for it already. Special summon area. Set trap with Syria, go into Link 2, go into Syria. For another Link, so I can go into Xyz. Being trapped, being times 8 Redoer, which I can immediately go for a game with all the attack. I decided to trade off that 18,000, 16,000 for 200 more. And I can also gain passive effects. Overall, this is a Swordsoul deck, so I actually was surprised, but not surprised. Desire, so they can actually proc off more of their passive ones that can trigger when banishing a card. Swordsoul, called Rave, but makes sense. Called Imperm, Swordsoul Blackout. Anti-Spell Fragments, which is the only surprising card I actually faced the whole match. Prism Layer was the only thing I was surprised about, but it makes sense. If you're dealing with a deck that deals with Kaijus, you realize why. Or next up, a lot of generics being most cases. Clean Exotic Agent, go to Divine Arsenal Zeus. Market on the mile. Mostly so you can proc out Terrestrial Spirits. Next up, just Trauma Terminator. If you wreck really hard, you can. This. Supposed to some more runes for your deck, and we'll see about it. I will say this, I like the new dailies in the sense that I got rid of the two most annoying ones. I think the whole thing. Overall, I can't bricked, but this is my Despia debut. Go into Probably. Go into Brand Fusion. Send Albaz, get my Blue Eyes Life. Go into my Liber. Go into Mirror. Go into Masquerade. Target it. And Albaz to hand. Send both to my grave. Go into Rebellion. Get my name perm. Get another level 8. Go to Mirror Drain. Opponent has to use a lot of different life points at this point. Personally, what I didn't realize is I should have got rid of the Swordsoul token. Since I could have actually gotten rid of one more Swordsoul, which they have no more targets. So this card would have just been vanilla. So that was a mess up on my part. And all best my hand. Activate Imperm, till be destroying it. Untitled Spell Fragments, which is the only thing I was surprised about. Albaz here, go into effect. I discard a card, but it would have been max E. Go into race, get an out for it. Go into Verte here. Verte skill. Send my Fusion Destiny cards from the grave. Go into Phoenix Forcer. Go and destroy it. Call back the grave, which was the most powerful thing I could have picked. I realized I have an out being. I can just Phoenix Forcer one more last time for defense or offense if I need to. Since it comes back next turn, my opponent realizes it and so I had to surrender. Also, the last ones, mostly I try and get different materials out I need. This is just a Witchcrafter deck. Nothing else different than I expected. Cards that utilize a lot of engines to get all their spells. There's too many combos in this deck that's ridiculous. Outside mostly being staples. The only thing that being Imperm, which is kind of wise reason. Most of the cards are relying on links and themselves. And mostly a lot of broken numbers. The one thing I ever do is look for content. I'll look for content, that's the only thing I ever do. If it's good enough, I'll look at it. I'll use it. Is it back and forth enough? Yes. Otherwise, pretty much I'll look for a decent video, decent showings. This is me unresting most of my Cyber Dragon plays. I'll be honest. Go into Cyber Dragon Nova here. Rebuild the overlay. I could have gone to Amethyst, I realized. And I could have essentially added another Cyber Dragon in my deck. But when I decided to give up, since I had too many outs. This was like, I'm just showing this one because of how ridiculous it was. Of how I had too many outs my opponent. Next match was a separate against Synchron's. Omni Dragon Buster, utilizing all our combos, going Stardust, Harvest Duster, Milling, Mallet, Tuning, Archive and Thunder, Necroid Fusion. Personally, that card should be a 3-up personally for the deck, as you will realize eventually. Running 2 levels, by best, Drive and Light, Limit Overdriver. Limit Overdriver, just a standard combo. I call it by the grave. Convergent Witches, which is probably makes sense considering how many synchros you go into this deck. Shark Speeder, always a 5 of. Garden, Crystal Wing, Shooting. The fun thing is, I actually think I run this person like twice. Okay, now I just looked at it, actually didn't, but I thought I did, since I actually thought same person since the same opening actually. So that's the fun thing to me. You never know. I started to use Cyber Mercy, going to core. If nothing else, I got no out. And machine duplicate. Yeah, the other one. Going to 3. Going to Veer afterwards. Going to Seeker, but I should have gone Pride Plant, but I was a little slow trying to get my Link daily done with. Bring out Mon Monster. Going to Pride Plant Verte. Going to Infinity. Going to Machine Dupe. Return Seeker. Pushing Destiny here. I decided to go into this. Mostly so I know how to deal with Raw. But when he's called by the grave either way, which I'm out for. I was like, Magical Mallet. And my first chain of thought was, am I dealing with Exodia? Because I have faced Exodia lately. But the combo was easy to get rid of. No, not for showing. Still playing silver. Go and destroy that. I also have for my daily destruction out of the way. So that's good. Put aside the quit here since they had no outs, and technically the whole deck with speeder is pretty much to you get K deck going for game, or a conversion board for a lot of omegates. Next up, Zoya, which has surprised me that it's still being played. I'm glad I had a lot of outs. Everything else essentially we expect from the whole deck. The only thing I'm surprised about, they're not running the whole pots to actually get rid of a lot of extra draw power in the deck. I decided my opening hand was pretty good, and I also got called by the grave, which will be useful for this match. The fun thing is, I only just added, and I had a second out. This time I made the right plays. I had Galaxy Soldier in my hand, get rid of my Cyber Dragons. At first off, I was like, my opponent's not doing anything. What the heck did he have? Or they don't have any bureau, I feel like, at this point. So I had to call by the grave, using Destiny here. Doing the things first. Going to that so I don't get destroyed. Magical Mallet, I was like, what the heck am I dealing with this time? And I just thought it was like the last duel I showed you. Essentially summoned that, I was like, let's get rid of that. Oh, and it's in the case that I extended for double summons, called by the grave. Gold coin costs, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to draw you more cards to actually extend your combo somehow, or recover from it, so I decided to pretty much negate it from there. Since I must have really badly in the first place. Overall, those are matches. Also, I gained Vanguard Deer Days pretty sometime this week. I'll be streaming it. I'll be streaming tomorrow some point. I'll be gorillaing that all night. Overall, have a good night wherever you are. Peace.